Hi, so here today to talk about um, establishing and improving a presence on LinkedIn. So I wanted to share some tips of things that have been working for me in this space, and then be able to answer questions for people. So if there are questions that are coming up, if you can please just put them in the chat group, and we'll be able to address them along the way, or at the end rather. But if you have questions along the way, go for it. Okay, so how I'm actually going to start with sharing my LinkedIn because I think it's just easier to be able to speak to it while it's open, kind of in real time. Um, and then if I get any messages along the way, just excuse them. I'm trying to log out of everything else. All right, so I'm just going to take this kind of quickly from a little bit from the beginning. So when you're joining LinkedIn, you can only join with like one email account, I should say. So use it. I've actually had three separate ones because I've had like three different motives at one point and was going for three different industries, but decided to meld that together. I can get into that a bit later, but so just know that you can only have one email address per account, or one account per email address, I should say. I just want to kind of go through the sections as well, just to talk about kind of what's also been helping me into what to put into each one of those sections, and kind of how to present that, starting literally from the top. So when you join LinkedIn, they actually step you through the onboarding process of getting your profile set up. One of the things that they ask you to do is to start adding in your connections. I would probably pause on that first and work on your profile, and then add in any connections, people that you may already have. But we'll get into connections in a bit as well. But I just wanted to talk you through what would typically happen when you're onboarding on LinkedIn. Okay, so starting from the top, I would start with a banner image that's actually maybe something of you of in an authority kind of way. So whether that's you on a stage, or you addressing people, or you kind of with someone who's popular in your field, I don't know, but basically something that actually shows that people listen to you in some way. So for some of you that are teachers, maybe it's some of you in the classroom with like their blurred out faces of the children or something like that. But yeah, basically, if there's something that displays of you in an authority, that would be great to have here as your background. As your picture, I'd suggest something that is professional looking, that actually, looks like it's something that you would find in a office, like a thumbnail of a directory kind of deal. So try to keep that with a light background. Well, it doesn't have to be a light background per se, but that you stand out of it. But the background itself is something that's solid, and that looks professional, and that image is maybe something that you're carrying through with other branding you may have, like your portfolio or whatnot. So then after you get to your name, in terms of what this kind of heading thing is, this is probably one of the things that doesn't get as focused on, that has such a powerful searching opportunity when people are looking, not necessarily for your name, but other people who kind of do, or people that do what you do. So you really can use this space to actually highlight maybe the titles that you're going after, or things that you'd like to be known as or recognized as, so that when people are searching, you come up in their search, because they're usually searching for some type of title or position. It doesn't necessarily have to be the title position that you hold at the job that you have, for instance, but just kind of your more generic, like I said, product designer. I don't necessarily put that I'm a product designer at NTT or at IntelliHR. Those things can just kind of happen to come up on the side if you choose to allow them to, but I actually don't usually keep them in my title. And because I just want to be known independently from a company, but that's personal. And so in that way, I've seen people either not use this space or use it to just put a quote, and people are not searching by those things. So if you do want to put a quote, for instance, I think they may allow maybe up to 3 lines, but I know at least definitely 2 lines. Maybe that's something that comes later because it actually searches in that order. The ranking actually comes in the order of what's listed here in your title. So it start with the thing that you want to be known for most, and then kind of go in succession in that way.
I just want to quickly ask, were you sharing your screen or?
Oh, are you not able to see? Of course not. Oh no. Thank you for jumping in and saying something. Awesome. That would really help.
I'm sorry. I was like, wait, it sounds like you're, thank you.
Awesome. Great. Thank you so much for that. Because once I closed out of LinkedIn, I went, I'm went straight to LinkedIn. So banner, here we're talking about, let's step back. So banner image here, and I'll drop this down. So, and drop you down to here. So a banner image, like I said, of something of authority, here as an image of something that's professional. Here, in terms of something that has like your title, and this is what I was thinking about, like I want to be known most for a UX designer, researcher, and then a product designer, kind of in that order here. So that's just kind of dealing kind of with this top area here. It will list your number of connections. Once you get over 500, it just, like, not that it doesn't matter, but it doesn't show here. So it just kind of becomes plus. Your contact information, you can choose how much of that you want to put in there. I choose to make sure that this link is unique. So it's not LinkedIn with like a whole bunch of letters and numbers. It's actually my name. And so it does allow you to choose that in your contact information. It allows you to put your portfolio, your website, which I choose to put my portfolio. I like having my phone number, email address. It's a way that you can get to me, and I'm fine with that. So your call as to how much of that you want to put in, but I suggest putting in as much as you're comfortable with. So in terms of if you were searching for a job, here is where you would the quickest ways, I guess, that you can get to showing like that you come up on recruiters' radars. If not, you can then have that turned off, but I definitely suggest having that turned on, so that's just working passively for you. Okay, so let's get to the about section, because I know that some people are kind of quite curious as what to put in that space. So what's working for me is, first of all, I start with my contact information because I personally want it to be as easy as possible for people to reach out to me, especially when I was looking for a job. So I didn't want them to, have to search around for that. In terms of, I found it important for me to be able to put something that's not only about just about me professionally, but something about me personally. So that's why I chose to put a who am I, because this actually still is a social platform. I'll get more into that as well when we're talking about posting. And so then I want to make it obvious to people what it is that I do. I don't want there to be any confusion about that, especially if, like for me, I have a couple of these listed up here in my title, my headline is what they call it. So I just wanted to make it clear as to what it is that I do and kind of how I do it. But I wanted to, so as I kind of mentioned before, I had like 3 different LinkedIn sites. And at one point I was suggesting that I only suggest that, I guess, to people when you're really concerned about your current network not receiving it well, that you may, especially if you're looking for new jobs. And if you feel like you can't do that as freely. But the thing with that is that you don't have people in the network that's already like kind of knowing you and seeing your posts as well. So if you want to do that just well and truly to have a profile for people that you're interviewing to be able to see and connect with you, and you can put on that you're looking for opportunities and whatnot, then if you don't feel comfortable doing that with your own LinkedIn because you think that your current network or your current employer might see that, then you can start your own. But I decided to actually meld mine. So I'm comfortable to talk about the fact that I'm also an entrepreneur. So I actually wrote a post that I'm just like, I wanted to be my authentic self on this platform as well. So I didn't keep that a secret that I also have other businesses and other things that I aspire to do. I feel like I'm at a point in my career, in my life, where if that's not acceptable for people, then they're maybe not the contact for me. So I feel comfortable doing that. But your call as to how comfortable you are with that in your about section. Um, okay, so featured. This is a space here where you can. Right now, I think it's my portfolio that, of course, is deciding to not show up with the images. So I put my portfolio here, any magazines, an article that I've done, once again showing that I have some authority in, for instance, this is about being in the luxury travel space. So I wanted to show that, yes, I've been able to tour these hotels and write about them. For me, then I also have this here about leaping for change, because I want people to know that I do assist people with their professional and international location changes. So these are things that I wanted to put in my feature. It's up to you in terms of what else you can put in there, but I do suggest things that I said are either authority building or things like your portfolio, or you can put a copy of your resume if you'd like, although noting that your resume will probably need to alter depending on what job you're applying for. But if you want to put a more generic one there, that's possible. But this is yet another space to be able to present yourself. So, okay, I will talk about, now, yeah, okay, so we'll continue going down to experience. They have started to kind of give you only like your first bit here. And in some instances, when you're looking at people for the first time, you don't even see that much. You have to actually go in and see what about their experience. So here is your opportunity to either put everything that you've ever done, or be specific about what in particular you want people to be able to focus on. I choose to put kind of everything, because I use my resume to actually be quite poignant in terms of what I actually want people to see. But in terms of, let's see, we'll put IntelliHR, so we'll open this up. I try to keep them in bullet form, because I also recognize that people scan. So I try to make that as easy as possible for people to be able to see. And these are aligning with the things that are in my resume as well, in terms of using action verbs. I might put probably even potentially some more bullet points that I have space for in my resume, because I try to keep my resume to 1 page to 2 pages max. And in general, like very much about what is it that I did that has had a result in the business and in the company. So I try to keep them as short as possible, and in bullet form. So hopefully that helps as well. In terms of now, I want to talk about adding people, and then talk about posts. So let's go to we'll say my network. Actually, we'll go to messages. So basically, I'll just put this in here. LinkedIn works on levels of connections. So it's best if you start with people you already know, to be able to add to your LinkedIn. In that case, you're probably not having to write like extensive messages to them to be able to find, for them to be able to accept you as a connection, because they already know you. When you are starting to reach out to people who are in an industry that you're just starting out in, or you want to expand in, I think it's always best to start out with people who are second level connections, meaning that they know someone that you already know, like they have a first level connection with someone that you also have a first level connection with. And in doing so, you're able to, it's a little bit of that social proof that, okay, you're in the circle, you're at least only one level removed from the circle, and that helps them feel more confident. I also put a message in as well. So let's see, let's look at Lauren. So I'll bring up just in terms of a message that is almost a bit of like a it was a cold message. Like, I have never met Lauren before, but I did a search for people who were business developers, business management, and sales and marketing, because I wanted in luxury hotel space, because that's what I wanted kind of my new crop of um, connections to be. So she came up in that space, and I wanted to just show you like my initial message that I wrote to her, and then I'll show you an initial message that I wrote to someone who I wanted to get like kind of coffee with. So to Lauren, I just, and feel free to screenshot this if you'd like. It said, look, I came across your profile, and so that she knows like how I found her, and that I'm an entrepreneur who loves to travel and run feature luxury hotels. That's important to someone who's a development manager, because they want to know how is it that they can, and sales and marketing, because they want to understand how is it that they'll be able to extend their reach with their hotels. So that was something about me that I thought would be relevant to her, and saying that I was interested in her profile and if it's okay with her to connect. So after she said yes, then and then connected with me, then I did my ask. And so I typically wouldn't, yeah, for someone who I just want to have in my network, I would kind of stay at that. In particular, I wanted to speak with her. So for me, I, once again said, thank you for accepting, hope that we could be mutually beneficial for each other. And then I kind of asked a question of like, hey, can the students that I work with speak with her for a bit of time in a particular time frame? And I did like pretty much everyone that I sent this invite out to, that are really like general managers, business developers, sales and marketing of these luxury high-end resorts. Definitely they got back to me, because they were like, yep, sure, welcome to do that. They're also trying to extend their reach, and in particular in this time with COVID, so that people come back as well. So that was an example of something I did to a reach, completely cold reach. She was in a second level, because I was starting in third level and it just wasn't landing as well. So starting in second level, because as that increases of her now becoming my first level contact, of a direct contact, then her people all become second level for me as well, which is really important in that space. Let's go to, who else do I want to bring up? Ginny, let's see a message that Ginny Wong. So in terms of with Ginny, she's someone as well who I reached out to when I was new to user experience design, and in Brisbane. So once again, I mentioned how is it that I found out about her, so that helps another with that social proof. It's not a completely cold situation in that sense. So I mentioned that I met her, that's one of our mutual friends, Hans, mentioned that she would be great to speak with. And yeah, so that was one version of a message. I wanted to be able to understand her insights. Sometimes I put like, hey, I want to be able to, hear that you are someone who is like really kicking goals in your industry, and I wanted to be able to kind of pick your brain, if that's okay, and potentially see how I could help you, right? So in the way I was like, in that instance, I said, I look forward to connecting. In other instances, I say, like, I look forward to taking you to coffee. When might you be available? And that was in my first message to them, so they understand, kind of what my intent was. But that was something that was a bit more kind of peer-to-peer. What I also did, so she gave me, when we met, and then she gave me other people that I should kind of follow up with. And I thought it was really important, and this is something else people don't do, is to circle back with the people who gave you advice, and extended their network to you, and say, hey, look, I told her, since we met, I'm circling back and telling you that I did check in with Felix. We've met up. Joseph and I met this morning, and he's going to connect me to someone else that's in his network. So I wanted her to know that I wasn't just using, just taking the names, writing them down, and not doing anything with them. I wanted to keep her aware that, yes, I was actually taking her advice and actively reaching out to the people that she was willing to open her network to. And I feel like not enough people do that just kind of in general. They just kind of like walk off with information, and you don't really know how they're going with that, or if they reached out, or potentially how you continue to help them. So I would say that's a respect thing, and that would be, people would appreciate that. So let's see, groups. Another way to be able to kind of have your social authority there is to join groups. So for instance, I'm just going to put in maybe luxury. Let's see. So you can search for groups in LinkedIn as well. And even if you are not, see, people, jobs, more, groups. And even if you are not going to have like none of the time to be as active in them to begin with, and you're just kind of quickly trying to build your authority here, join the groups, and so that some of the that would be mutual. So if it's for UX design, great. If it's for finance, great. And join them so that people can also see like, oh, at least we're in the same like mutual group, even if you haven't been able to have the chance to completely participate much in those groups. I find that some of them they kind of exist, but people aren't really that active in them. But it would help when you're first reaching out to people that you have a mutual interest in mutual industry, to be able to at least have joined those groups first, and then so that kind of makes them feel more comfortable as well. Once you get to the point that you have quite a few people in those, that you're making connections with, you don't have to work quite as hard to send messages out. So it's because they can see, okay, we have a lot of mutual connections, we're in a mutual industry, and people just get more comfortable accepting you as their connection. So accepting. Yes. So in terms of what kind of things have been, I'd say, trending for me, or how that helps me to get a lot of views on my posts, in terms of also like what to post. So we'll go here to post an activity. Let's see. Actually, first, I want to go to my stats. Let's see if we can do that for a second. View profile. Actually, I think that's in my network. Where are you? Maybe it comes up more easily on my mobile. Or is it in notifications? Sorry, as I click around here. But basically, you can see like kind of how you're trending in LinkedIn as it decides to wet the bed right now. You can see how you're trending in terms of how many people are looking at your posts and at your, yeah, that's also not showing it there. Anyway, we'll just get in here into posts and activities. You can see how people are kind of receiving your posts by like how many comments you have, how many views you have, and the like. So here I will go to posts, because one of the things that has helped me to get a lot of people seeing it is seeing my profile is, one, I reached out a lot to people to add into my network. So far, there's somewhere around, that's how many followers, but there's over like 2,000, more than that, in terms of how many connections that I have. And so in that way, because I'm constantly reaching out to people, people are constantly looking at my profile. So I kind of do that in waves. So there'll be like moments of jumps and then moments of lulls. And so when you are reaching out to people to add them to your connection, they're typically checking out your profile first. So that's another way to kind of do a bump. You can actually, when you make a new update, like for instance to your to something about a job, you can present that as well, and actually say that you want your network to see that, and so that'll go out more actively as well. People will ping that. Another way that has been helping me is in terms of, it's just, as I mentioned before, it's a social platform. So people actually like seeing you post about your life and how you're doing and your wins and what's going on. So I'd say the things that probably got me the most are, let's look into, when I joined my latest company, let's see where that is. I posted in there that I had this new job and I thanked everyone that helped me along the way. I tagged the company, and so I just want to get in there because apparently I've been posting a lot more than I thought. So look, this was kind of short and sweet. I said this was my first day, so letting people know what I was doing. The company that I'm now working with, there are like a lot of people that work for that company, so it was also trending in that it was being is a hashtag that they follow. So a lot of people in NTT were able to see that as well on my post as well. So it got on a lot of people's radars. I thanked people who had been helping me. So that was another thing. And when I thank them, not only like I actually want to thank them, because I also think that that's a huge thing that people don't necessarily do. I thanked them, but I also did it by linking their names. So they are seeing it and their networks are seeing it as well. I also used hashtags that I thought were relevant to people who would be looking for this kind of post. So they're not just hashtag like, hashtag just something that is a bit trivial, like they're actually purposeful hashtags. So that works just like kind of LinkedIn, like Instagram. So definitely suggested that you use purposeful hashtags because that's what people search for as well and follow as well. So for this post, I got 26,000 views, 380 comments, and likes or reactions and comments. Oops. So in that way, like that's yet another thing that's like, hey, people are definitely seeing this and it's trending. Another thing to be able to post about is events that you're going through. So if you're saying, yep, I went to this event, thank that person and also link their name. So doing things like that helps your reach of what you're kind of going out to. So yeah, I wanted to, those are kind of main things. I will stop sharing and come on because one of the first questions that I also get is that people want to know, yes, people are wanting to also ask how is it that they can, do they need a premium account or is it possible to just, do this with a free account? And so I want to basically be able to say, look, you can definitely survive with a free account. I only did like a free version of a premium, a free premium account. So I didn't pay for it for that month when I was looking for a job so that I can see a little bit more stats about the job that I was applying to and kind of the skills that other people had. So I thought that was really helpful. But it's also possible to, I didn't necessarily find that it was like so mind blowing to have it in terms of, what it allows you to do, or I don't think it's necessarily personally worth the cost monthly, but I think that for like, if you want a moment in time, a spurt that you're really putting things out, you're able to reach people who only would normally accept people who are also either premium or who also are, how would you say, like you can email them in ways that you may not be able to message them. So you do get greater access in that space as well. So if you definitely do see an opportunity for a free premium account that comes up for 1 month, great, take it. And if you do want to pay for it for at least 1 month, see how you're liking it and then cancel it, that's also possible. But yeah, I found it was helpful for that period of time that I did have it. I'm going to go into the chats really quickly and see. And oh yeah, so great, that happened to be the freemium account. And if you're welcome to come off mute and ask any other questions that you may have so that we can help address them. And if you want to know more and want me to dig into deeper of anything else that I mentioned.
I just have clarification on like the premium account. You said you were messaging those people kind of like the personalized message. Was that when like you were on their profile, like you clicked connect, it gave you the option to put in
Yes,
like a personalized message?
exactly.
Um, was that like um, character limited? Because I think I've had that where it was like character limited, like your message could only be so long.
Yes, and they increased the character limits actually. So I think it was only like 150, and I think it's up to 300 and something. So you can get a pretty decent sized message there. So once again, I post about something that about me that I think would be interesting to them, like relevant to them. Something about them that as to like why is it that I was interested in them, and so that definitely does help in the rate of conversion of people saying yes. But yeah, you are allowed up to 300 and something. They recently increased it, I think, earlier this year. So you can put a decent amount in there to at least start the conversation. And this will all be recorded and available as well in the group. So if you had fingers of fury and trying to take notes, it's okay. You'll be able to see them a bit later. Let's see. Just wondering if there's anything else that I wanted to share in case you don't have other questions. The computer locked on me, so I'll open it back up again.
I guess I do have another question for you.
Sure.
You said like what has been working for you. I guess like what's the difference, like something that you weren't doing that you noticed made the most drastic change, or like
Yep.
what the change was, not necessarily what you're just doing now.
Yeah. So like changes when I started tagging people in my comments, like actually putting their name in, and that was on that on-flow effect of seeing how many other people were seeing that post. The times a day that I was posting, I got really quite clear about that, because this is a professional network. People are at commuting hours, even if they're not commuting. So the morning, lunchtime, and commute home. I really started working on the second level connections as well, because that visibility, or them feeling comfortable, I guess, in that space. And I started posting like just a little bit, just more genuinely, in terms of before I was looking at for just a platform to look for jobs. And then I actually started becoming active on it, and people see that activity, and they're like, that alone, and that visibility of your profile, by actually either sharing something, like sharing a link, sharing a post, sharing an article, but actually talking about what is going on in your life. People like to actually see that and help celebrate you on that, probably more than people would realize. So I got more interactive with it. I actually started posting of like what's going on, instead of just purely looking for as in a job. Yeah, just for a job. Mitch, you came off of mute.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I've got a couple of questions. Just with you were saying to get you more profile views when you added the people's actual name tags, just with the hashtags and everything, like, do you think that I just noticed you had UX design, interface design, whatever at the bottom, can you monitor or see how that's showing? And
LinkedIn actually sends you like, you're trending in this, you're trending in a particular hashtag. So they let you know. So you don't necessarily see how many views per that hashtag, but it does ping you when you are particularly trending in a hashtag. I use those because a lot of those actually come up as suggestions from LinkedIn. When you start to put in one hashtag, they suggest other ones that are paired with that they typically see other people using as well when they use some of the hashtags you started typing in. But like I say, I use that to direct it towards the group of people that I want to see this post, more so than the content of the post. It's like, nope, I want travel people to see this, I want UX designers to see this, and I want whatever. And that's part of what I started doing when I melded my accounts, like pretty much last month.
And because you've got a couple of things on the go, just on the LinkedIn with the travel and the UX design. So when you do each post there, like, it's not confusing anyone who'd look at your profile, like, because each post is directed with the hashtags or
Yeah.
whatever.
So,
I'm just wondering how that would work,
Yeah,
or
so-
how it could get confused if possible, or anything like that.
I got over that. So like I didn't really at first, like I even put a post like I thought people might be confused about this, but like I'm multifaceted and so are most people. And so if people can't appreciate that, then like I said, there may not be the connection, or I've come to the point in my life that they're not the connection for me. So and I warned people when I said, hey, I'm combining my accounts. I will from now on be using hashtags to direct content towards the things that everything would matter most. So, you know, some people will like my stuff regardless of what it's about because they like me. Other people will only, you know, read certain things and they'll take it, you know, for what it's worth. But LinkedIn is also smart enough to start trending things towards posts towards the people who tend to like the things that you're posting, particularly things you're posting about.
Yeah.
So I didn't care if they were confused. Like that's the point of it. This is me in my whole being. Take whatever it is that you will from it. So.
Yeah.
I'm taking just a last quick one in our last kind of 15 seconds. Cool. Well, look, thank you so much for joining. And I will post this in the group and look forward to any other extra questions. Awesome. So good to talk to you guys. Later.
Bye.
Bye.